Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to a new series. In this series I'm going to be covering Endless Legend 2, which is the new 4X game by Amplitude Studios. The key for this was kindly provided to me by Hooded Horse, the publisher. I have briefly played this before. I played the demo of it that came out probably a few months ago now. I played Endless Legend 1 because obviously this is a sequel. And I also played Endless Space, which was a sort of a space-themed 4X, not as in-depth as something like Stellaris. It was more of a spreadsheet simulator, but it was pretty fun. What I want to do, ultimately, for this game is to produce a sort of a new player guide for it. But before I really get into that, I want to just play through a game or two, just to make sure I've got all of the mechanics in my head. Now, if you've played a 4X game before, if you've played something like Civilization or Old World, or I've forgotten what the other one was recently, but even older things like Warlock, they're all very, very similar, right? They all do everything in pretty much the same way. Now, I'm not saying that as a slight against Endless Legend 2. I think it is a brilliant game, but it doesn't do anything particularly revolutionary that I have discovered yet. But let's go and get into it. I'm going to play through the tutorial because it only gives you a little bit of guidance and then it kind of just lets go of your hand and just pops up with things that you need to know. As you can see, I have already sort of played it through to turn 136 and I've made some mistakes in there. So I'm going to roll back to the beginning. I'm not going to go through any of the story stuff because, to be quite frank, it just slows the play down and I butcher the names. And if you want to play the game for the story, go play it yourself. It's well worth it, I promise you. So let's jump in and start the tutorial. We'll be playing as the Kin of Sheridan, who are the only people that you can play as in the tutorial. I will let the cutscenes play though. I don't think there's any voiceover on these particular cutscenes. I think this one's just a flyover of the map at the beginning of the game. It's a very, very beautiful game. I do have to give it props for that. It looks really, really nice. Although sometimes I find that the maps look a little bit busy, especially once you've got your cities put down. That makes things a little bit awkward. Okay, now it's also worth just keeping in mind that this is still in early access, so I don't believe you can play as all of the different factions and the different endings. The victory conditions aren't all in either. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit this button every time I get one of these, like, give me all the story things. I'm just gonna hit this button and it takes us basically to the request. So I've got a request to found our capital city, and we'll get 200 dust for that, which is basically gold. So yeah, this is our army that we start with. We have basically got just a couple of units to begin with. We have our movement points down here on the bottom bar, which is how many tiles they can move. Not strictly tiles, because some tiles do have extra movement cost. So if I mouse over this bit of grassland and you look down here in the bottom left corner, you can see right at the bottom of that pop-up window, movement cost to going into this empty tile is 1, but if I go into this tile with trees, it's 2. So again, very much like games like Civilization. Right click on a tile and explore as much as you can, and then left click to end your turn. So there's not very far that we could go, but let's move up here away from the coast. It puts us up in the trees again, which is a little bit of a pain. Now we do still have movement left, but like older Civ games, you can move into any tile as long as you've got some movement left, and there we found probably a bit of a better spot. So let's end the turn. Again, I am just going to follow the tutorial. This bit will literally take just a few minutes. And this is saying that we can zoom out to get a better view of the map, which is actually really worth it because, like I said, the map does get quite busy. And we know how Fog of War works. So there is territory, which is what this dotted line is. So when you place a city in a territory, you claim the whole territory. Nobody else can build another city in there. It's not like Civilization where someone can just come and drop something right next to you. So we've got our resources. We can show the resources by clicking this button down here in the bottom left-hand corner. And you'll see these different icons. I don't even have the bar at the top to show you what they are now, but they're food, industry, science, and dust. FISD, FISD. And pretty much the same as you'll see in any other 4X game. So food is what you need to make your cities grow in terms of population. If you don't have enough food for your population, they'll start to starve and you'll lose pops until you have enough food to sustain them. If you have surplus food, that will go towards letting your population grow. Industry is the resource that is used to build buildings and upgrades and train units within your city. The more industry a city has, the faster it can produce things. And food and industry are both a sort of per city resource. Then you've got science. Now, science is actually a global resource. The more science you have, the faster you can research different technologies. And dust is basically the thematic name in this game for money or gold. And it is used for certain types of upgrades. It is used for quickly producing or instantly producing units and upgrades in cities, as well as a few other things. There's also another resource that the game hasn't mentioned yet, which is influence, which is very, very important for founding new cities and for expanding. So we're going to found our capital. We can do that with this button down here on our army. Any army can found a city, and you can actually move to any tile that you can reach on this turn. So this is the start of a new turn. This army has its full movement points, so we could go and settle on any of these tiles we wanted to. Now, some of these tiles you'll notice don't have any yields on them at all. Which is not a problem. We can deal with that. Where we are is actually not bad, because we've got industry and food around us, which are the ones that we really want. We will want some science and some dust later on, but I think right now getting this food and industry is probably the best one. Although if we go here... No, let's just settle where we are. So when you place a city down, you will instantly get the tiles around it. Let's just skip through this because we're going to get the 200 gold reward for the 200 dust reward. And now it wants us to build a district of any type in the capital. So we'll be going ahead and doing that. And this wants me to pick the city. So as I was saying, city district bonuses. So when you place a city down, you get the city hall. The city hall gives you a huge boost to things like dust. You get some science. You do get some influence. You can see all those along the top of the screen here. This is the per city one. So the city's getting 9 food per turn. That's actually 10 from this from the district. So or districts. And then it's getting +3 bonus, and it's losing 4 for the population. So all in all, we're getting a positive of +9. 25 industry per turn, 18 dust, 6 science, 6 influence. When you place a city down, you claim all of the tiles directly around it. You can see where we've got these like sort of palisade fences around these tiles. These tiles are called foundations, and we automatically get the yields from these tiles. We don't need population to work them like you do in a game like Civilization. So that's why I tried to pick the tile that was in the middle of the food and the industry, because it means we're going to get that food and that industry. This line across here at the top above the city marker, this actually shows us how long it's going to take us to get a new population. So it's going to take us 7 turns to get a new population. We've got 1 population at the moment, so 1 of 6. We've got a maximum population, so 6 houses basically, and we've got 1 population. Can't show you that at the minute because it's greyed out, but we'll get there in a moment. So yep, City Hall, bonuses to terrain it sits on, city production, which I've literally just gone through, industry, district construction. So this is what it wants us to do now. So once you have a foundation, you can build a district. Now a district is like an upgrade to a tile. So imagine something like Civilization, if you've played that, particularly Civilization 5. A tile that is within your city borders can be worked by a population to get its yields. You don't need to work a tile to get its yields in Endless Legend, but you can also use a worker in Civilization to upgrade a tile, to build something on it that increases its yields, and that's exactly what this is doing here, except instead of using a worker, you're actually doing it with the city itself. So we could build, at the moment, communal habitations, which basically give us extra housing. Farms are locked at the moment, so we can't build those. We could build a works, which will give us more industry. We could give us merchant's house, which will give us more dust. A laboratory will give us more science. A forum will give us more influence, and then we've got a keep, which is basically it gives the city more fortifications, more defences if it's being attacked. It also gives the city a little bit of approval as well. We'll talk about that in a while, and it gives extra vision range. There are more building types available. We just haven't unlocked them yet. So at the moment we just want industry, so we're going to go ahead and put that works down. Now I believe this is the tutorial. We are literally stuck from these 3 buildings. You can build a works on top of a like a food tile, so you don't have to stick to the yield that's on the tile, but it makes the most sense if you do that so you're not overwriting the yields. Also, when a district gets surrounded by 4 other districts, it upgrades, and at that point it'll actually give you a higher output. So this is now in the construction queue for the city, which is up here in the top right hand corner. It's showing us our science production down here. There was something else I was going to talk about there, but I don't need to do that because the game will do it for us. So this is the research tree. There are actually it's not going to let me click it at the moment. During your great adventure, technology is offered different ways. Currently in the first era of technology, which is this one here, the years of survival, science is always divided into 4 domains. So you've got defense, you've got society, you've got economy, and you've got discovery. Technology unlocks cost science. The ones that have got the little thumb up button on are the ones that are recommended. Some technologies are already unlocked at the start of the game. So it wants us to pick this one down here. So this one is within discovery. And you can see down at the bottom, they usually show you what they have. So this little icon means it'll affect a district. So this allows us to build a laboratory. So this is essentially a district that will allow us to farm science. This one gives us dust. This one gives us industry. This is the farm that gives us food. This one gives us influence. So they all have these little markers on them. So we're going to go ahead and click this one because it wants us to. You can see down there at the bottom, the investment for this is 24 science. And we're producing 6 science per turn. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. It will take 4 turns to get that particular tech. And it's queued up. You can queue up techs here as well. But we're not going to queue any up. And then we're going to end the turn. You can actually see through the different tech trees here. There are 6 different eras. Not a huge number of technologies here compared to a game like Civilization. But that's fine. Let's get out of here. So we need to go to the city. Food production. Food gets stockpiled. So it says food cannot be stockpiled, which is not technically true. The amount of food the city has stored. But once that stockpile is full, then it can't be stored beyond that. Food production is automatically consumed each turn. Population growth we've already looked at. Don't know why it's slowed down there actually. Because now we're not getting as much. We're not getting that +3 food from somewhere that we were before. That was weird. Okay, population management. So now we have population types. So let's get rid of that. So you have citizens, you have artisans, and you have scribes. Citizens produce extra food and extra dust, but they do reduce approval. Artisans produce extra industry and extra dust, but reduce approval. And then scribes produce science and influence, but they don't actually cost any approval. You've only got a limited number of slots here, and you can get more slots by upgrading your city and by building homesteads. If you have more population than you've got homes for, you will have homeless population, and they will really sort of tank the approval level. So we don't want that to happen. So the tutorial here wants me to drag this into one of the other 2 locations. Let's just drag it into there. That'll speed up the population growth again. So here's city approval. Tells you here what it does. Current level of the city is content, and it has no impact on the city. Higher level will increase food and industry production. Lower levels will decrease them and eventually lead to rebel armies emerging. So we've got the end turn reminder here. We have got an army that needs orders, so we might as well go ahead and do something with it. We need to go ahead and explore a little. So let's go and have a look up to the north. It's a little bit barren up there. Let's click end turn. Pending instruction to the city, so we're going to go here. Now it wants us to talk about dust, which is basically just gold, and this is the button up at the top that lets you rush the construction of whatever you're currently working on, and it's based on the amount of production it has left. So if you've got a building that you've just started, it'll cost more than if it's halfway through. So don't worry about, I don't want to spend the money on it because I've already half built it. You'll just pay half the cost for it. So you press that button and it's instantly produced. And we get 100 dust back anyway because we had a quest for that. So now we've got another quest here, which is assimilate a minor faction living in the city's territory, and this will give us access to Uwe Rach, who is a hero who can lead our armies. Now, armies don't need a hero. So pending instructions here, unit recruitment. So units are recruited at the city. You don't need any specialist buildings to get the basic ones. So we've got a couple of options at the moment, which is a cavalry unit and a shielded infantry unit. We're going to get the cavalry unit because it only takes 6 turns. It wants us to queue 2 of them up. Don't really need to do that. Army upkeep. So if you click on an army, you can see down here in the bottom left-hand corner that army costs you dust per turn. So there is an upkeep cost to that. And that's going to hurt us in a moment. Now it's time to make contact with native minor faction living in a village. So minor factions are like city-states in Civilization. So they are usually a single-tile settlement that produces units. Sometimes they are hostile to you, but not always. And you have a few diplomatic relation options that you can take with them, including eventually integrating them into your society where you share their populations and they offer you units and their resources and things like that. So we need to pacify village. Villages can create roaming armies that may attack you at some point. To limit this risk, and also for economic benefit, you should think about pacifying the villages. One village should not be too far away within your city's territory. Keep exploring a few turns until you find it good luck on your expedition. So it wants me to find it within my city's territory, which is basically within the blue line that I'm in here. So maybe we go down in the opposite direction. We'll go over here. Maybe there isn't one within the territory. Let's hit the end turn button. It's going to keep reminding me about this village pacification until I find them. And there they are. They're right down here. So this is the Solusk. Not sure if they have an army down there, but we can right click on the village. We don't need to be right next to it, and these are the options you normally have. So these ones are locked at the moment because of the tutorial. So if you have dust, you can bribe them, and basically it does pacify the village, but we also gain a unit from them, unless it's under the protectorate of a major faction. And we can also attack the village and we can just fight it to wipe it out. But we're going to go for this one, which is Parley, and they will basically give us a mission. Or at least I should do. I've got to click on them again. Why isn't it giving me the mission? Does this weird thing sometimes. Like the text is there. I've got to click here. Minor faction discovered. Do I need to go into the quest journal? It's not letting me do it for some reason. Okay, let's hit the end turn button. Like I said, this is me just sort of double learning the mechanics to make sure that I've got it all right. Maybe we need to be directly next to them. Click on them again. Parlay. We do have the mission. It just wasn't letting me do it for some reason. There we go. Okay, so now we've got a mission. Take care of the insolent peons and I'll see to a suitable reward. Destroy trespassers. This gives us 200 influence, which will be sorely needed, and it pacifies all of the Solusk villages in the territory. Now, if there was more than one village, they'd all be pacified. So now we've got access to the quest journal. That is over here, and we can see the faction 1. Assimilate the minor faction, pacification, there we go, destroy trespassers. So these are the trespassers over here. Now if we mouse over them, you can see they've got a combat strength of 182. We've got combat strength of 248. So we are stronger, and we're just going to go, it says it's a favourable battle. If I hold down right click and mouse over, it says favourable battle. So let's go ahead and just get straight in there. So this is on to the battlefield. This is the deployment phase. So the way that combat works in Endless Legend is the map sort of goes into this sort of tactical map, a little bit like Age of Wonders. These tiles are highlighted in this colour are where their units can deploy. I just can't see where they're deploying them at the moment. And these blue tiles are where I can deploy. Now at the moment the only units I have are the same, and they're infantry units, so I might as well just put them right at the front. If I had ranged units, I'd want to put them at the back to protect them, and maybe my hero. You do have a couple of other options that you can do in a normal battle, like for example you can retreat if you don't think you're going to be able to win. Retreating will allow you to run away, but your army will take some damage. You also have the option for an instant resolution, which is basically where the game just does a weighted dice roll to decide who wins. But, you know, it's usually better to fight it yourself. Now, you can go into a manual battle and then put it on auto to let the AI take control of everything, and you can see what's going on. And you can then go in at any time and sort of take control. So I'm just going to go in and hit manual battle, and now we'll see where their units have deployed. Now, their units are both ranged, but they are damaged. Our units actually have some level of shields on them, so that gives them a little bit more protection. And we can see they've got their passive skills as well, so we are defensive experts. Now I don't want to let them come to me. Now a battle only takes up to 8 rounds. If it's not resolved after 8 rounds, it becomes a draw, and both armies will separate, and if they've lost any units or taken any damage, that remains, and you'll need to basically then engage again on the next turn. You can see this is where our city is, but we can't go into there. You can change the battle speed, battle animations down here between normal and fast. Here's the toggle for auto and manual, and we can put all of our units onto defensive, and we can select previous and next units. So we want to be able to move. I don't want to move too far forward, so they are ranged units. I want to let them come to me, so I'm going to go and move forward with these units. I can go ahead and put them on to defend mode if they've got enough movement left. I can put you on to defend as well. So now our enemies will come towards us. They've actually gone into defensive stance there. That was pretty easy. Now you can do more damage from higher ground, so it's always better to get onto higher ground if you can. And we're going to go and attack from up there. So zone of control. When standing next to enemies, your units exert a zone of control on adjacent tiles of the same elevation. In this situation, the enemy cannot leave the zone without suffering attack of opportunity. All units except ranged units have this ability to exert a zone of control. Okay, now it's basically down to us. I can't really get any high ground because I can't move close enough. So let's move over here and we'll attack. Do a little bit of damage. We don't take that unit out, but I don't think they're going to be able to. I mean, this is a tutorial mission. It's not designed to be particularly difficult. So we'll make sure we've got you selected. You can easily take that unit out. And then I think this is still high ground. It's difficult to tell sometimes. You can see the elevation slightly better on this map usually. It usually tells you actually if you've got, just looking at the bottom on the attack preview, they've got forest cover. Doesn't say we've got a height cover, height advantage, so probably not. I think if we were there, if they were there, we would. Not even sure if that was a height advantage actually. It looked like it was, but I don't think it was. Now I'm looking at it from this angle. Okay, we'll wipe them out, nice and easy. We took a tiny little bit of damage, but that's fine. Skip to that, so we get the 200 influence and it pacifies all of their villages in the territory. And you can always go back and click on this little shield, and that will then tell you, give you a recap of the battle. So minor faction assimilation, congratulations, you've managed to pacify at least one village from minor faction. You can now assimilate them to benefit from the unique bonuses. So if we click this button here, we only have one slot at the moment. You can unlock additional slots through technology and upgrades. So we've got the Solace here, and it's going to cost us 150 influence to assimilate them. So when we assimilate them, they'll get 5 health on pacified villages under protectorate on the hero. No, 20 health on our heroes, and 5 health per pacified village under protectorate on heroes. So if we had 2 of this faction's villages pacified, then our hero would get an extra plus 10 health. We don't have a hero yet, but we will do, because there we go, we've just completed this quest as well. So let's just skip through that. Hero arrives. You've received a hero unit as a quest reward. It spawned on the capital city. Right, now it's free roaming. So the game's basically gone, right, you're on your own now. So actually there's another Solace camp up here in the north. So this one's actually pacified. So we have 2 pacified camps here. So if we look at my hero and click on him, we have the option to go to his profile. Can we see his health breakdown? Yeah, so his health is 130. He's getting plus 30 from the Solace. So why is he getting plus 30? He's getting plus 30 because he gets a flat plus 20 from this, and then he gets plus 5 for each pacified village, and we've got 2 pacified villages. That's where he gets the plus 30. Like I said, we can click on this and see the results of the battle. We did gain some dust from that, so that is cool. So we do want to keep exploring, potentially to the north. Now you'll notice it looks like we're on an island. This is one of the interesting things about Endless Legend, is that the sea levels will fall throughout the campaign and you'll have access to more land around you. So in this early stage, the other AIs can't get to you, which is actually quite nice. I'm going to go ahead and... We're not making a lot of dust, so I'm going to go ahead and collect my... pick the city, and I'm just going to go and remove that second unit that it's had me make. The reason that I'm doing that is because at the moment my armies can only have 4 units in them, and we've got the hero, so the hero will count as the 4th unit. So I can go ahead and put these units together. The hero's quite fast, but he still can't reach them on this turn. So there was a little narrative cutscene there, and I just cut that out because it goes into the story, and it's the story for this particular faction. Like I said, I might cover those in another video, but I don't want to slow things down by doing that. So we have a mission here, which is to search the Mosaic Halls. That'll give us 100 dust. Empire summary screen is available. So this gives us a few things that we can see overall. We've got a city cap of 3. Our empire approval is still content. You get population scale bonuses as well. So when you reach a certain population, things essentially improve. Same with your factions, your minor factions, their population scale. So they have population as well. I'll cover that in a second. And we have some empire traits. These are basically dependent on which empire that you pick that will give you some different bonuses. We've also got this strength of our zeal thing here, this devout force. Now this is entirely faction dependent. We've got empire bonuses as well. We can see all of that there. You can also unlock these council positions, and then you can assign these nobles to them that will give you another boost. Again, we'll get to all of that, but this one is actually an important one, this devout force. So if we go back out of this screen here, we can see it at the top. So this is the strength of our zeal. So current value here is 500. So the strength of our zeal represents the progress made in unlocking your most powerful assets and powers. To increase strength of our zeal, increase the fortification in your capital by building military districts and improvements. All unlocked powers can only be performed within your empire's territories or around an army containing a chosen unit. And these give you things like Divine Service creates a divine population in the city whose city hall is targeted. Divine population provide bonuses of FIDSI, so remember that's food industry, just science and influence, and approval. This action can only be performed within your empire's territories or around an army containing a chosen unit. And you'll notice it says +1 divine population and -1 kin of Sheridan population. So basically it converts one of our kin of Sheridan into a divine. Cost 25 influence, has 5 turn cooldown. And then we've got Rejuvenation, restores all of the movement points and the ability to attack in this turn for the targeted army. Again, 5 turn cooldown. And an influence cost. Blessed Earth generates 10 resources from the targeted resource deposit. What's this one? Replenished Faith fully restores the health of all units in the targeted army. And then finally, Wrath of the Skies inflicts damage to an army located on the targeted tile and the tiles adjacent to it. So, you know, some pretty powerful stuff. And if you're playing as a different faction, this will all be different. So we need to search the mosaic halls. The mosaic halls are over here. This is what is basically called a anomaly. Anything on the map that is kind of somewhere you can explore. Or that might be a fortress, actually. Curiosities are things that you can run over and pick up. Anomalies are things that you can interact with. Yeah, heroes cannot die, but if they sort of get killed, they do come... has it got any equipment we can give him? No, he's got everything. So yeah, heroes can't die, but they do sort of need to regenerate. So let's start moving this army over to the north. It's also worth remembering with an army that they're going to be... Their movement is going to be limited by the slowest unit. So if you've got 3 units that have 10 movement and you've got a unit that only has 2 movement, it'll only be able to move 2 units per turn. Let's see if we can get over there. Our science that we were working on, our research is complete, so we can now build laboratories. And also curation improves the reward effects from curiosities, which we haven't found any yet. This tells us how to split and merge armies. We don't need to do that right now. Let's go ahead and pick a new science, a new tech. So we could work on the strength of Garin here. This gives us extra defense on units and industry on military districts. Now that's quite good for us because we want to be able to work on military districts. But we also want food. We've got workshop. That's already unlocked. This one's already unlocked for us as well, stonework. So let's go in and food. The farm will take 7 turns. Civil, I think they'll all take 7 turns at this point. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get fencing then, because that'll allow us to get farms. We want to get that. And let's keep moving up with this army. Oh, one other thing I was going to mention. Yes, we've pacified these 2 villages. If we go back and look at the city now and look at population, you can see that we've actually got 2 Solace population in here as well. So they're actually providing extra resources. So yes, that one's providing a little bit of disapproval. We could move him and put him here if we just wanted extra science and extra influence, but then we'd be losing some production. So we'll leave it as it is for now. We will be gaining some more population. You'll notice the population gains actually slowed right down now from 6 turns. That's because we're now having to feed 3 population instead of only feeding 1. So our surplus food is only 2 now. So that has really, really slowed things down. There are a few other things that you can actually do in the city. So, yes, you can build districts on top of these foundations. Once all of these foundations are full with districts, you'll need to buy more foundations. You can buy foundations next to existing districts. You can buy foundations next to resource extractors. But they do cost influence, and the further they are away from the city, the more expensive they're going to be. But once you've bought those tiles, you instantly gain those yields. So if I were, for example, to go in and let's say we want to buy this one here, now we've instantly got another 3 food per turn, which is great. So we've also got improvements. We can get some improvements. We've got the sanctity of nature here. This is an improvement. Respect and understanding of the natural world enables it to give more to the community. So this would give us +4 food, 4 industry, 4 influence, 10 dust and 4 science. Can be built once per empire. Might as well have it on the capital. It takes 6 turns. And we've also got landscaping. So when you've got tiles that don't produce anything, at some point you may have several sterile tiles in your territories like barrens, devoured land and sand tiles that grant no terrain resources. The restore landscape action will help you in only a few turns to make these tiles fertile again. Now it does have a dust cost associated with it, but it's probably worth doing. So we might want to go ahead and I don't think we need to restore them right now because we're not working any of those barren tiles, but we probably do want to go and queue that improvement up because that'll help us quite a lot. And we could just pay for that outright. Let's go ahead and just end the turn. We've got our army. So this is the cavalry unit that we spawned. Fast moving unit. We're actually losing dust now, because we are our army maintenance is so high. Can we attack this on this turn? Well, it's not really attack, but yes, we can. That gives us an extra 100 dust. Again, we're going to skip the story parts. Destroy the Necro Horde for 100 influence, and they are over there, so we need to go ahead and sort that out. We are in a different territory over here. This thing here, this is an anomaly. So as you can see, it gives us 3 science, 3 food, and 5 approval. So there are some things that are worth grabbing. So now we go in here. We could just spend the dust we have and improve this instantly. Now that might seem silly because we're already losing dust per turn, but this will give us an extra plus 10 dust per turn. So if we go ahead and buy that, we're now back in the positives again. So that's great. And that frees us up to now build another district. So we could work on getting some more food. We haven't got farms yet, so probably don't bother with the farm right now, but we could definitely go over here and get ourselves another works. Or we could go ahead and build ourselves a keep. A keep wouldn't be a bad tile to build right now. Maybe on this tile. So we click on this one. Let's go ahead and build a keep here. So we'll still get some production from this. But then that will tick us over into our divine service unlock. So let's end the term. So this first video is probably going to be a bit of a longer one. Let's go ahead and see if we can wipe this army out. Now it says it's a favourable battle. We do have our hero in here, so it's 502 to 203. I don't think they're going to retreat because it's a kind of a set-up battle for a quest. So, again, where are they deploying? They're deploying over here. There is a little bit of high ground, but I can't deploy that far forward. So, I'll deploy as far forward as I can with my units, which pretty much is what I have done. I'm going to put my hero over here. I'm going to assume they're probably going to come this way around, but they might not. Cavalry's got some high ground. Let's just go into manual battle and see where they go. They've got a flying unit and they've got a ranged unit. I can't really get very close to them, so I think what I might do is just put everybody onto defensive stance and let them come to me. No, there we go. So there we go. So I've got a good range on my ranged attacker here. What is his range actually? He's got range 3. Can target an enemy unit in the 3-tile radius. But he loses damage when attacking. Flying unit adds 20% damage. That's nice. He also has this active skill. When using on an enemy, it ignores defensive targeted units, deals 30 damage, and deals an extra 3 damage per determination. I still need to work out exactly what determination is and what determination does. And deals 2 extra damage per might. I think his determination and might is his actual skill sheet, which I can't see from here. Anyway, the point is, that's a lot less damage than you'd think. It is in a defensive mode, which is the reason why it's going to absorb quite a bit of that. That didn't do a lot at all. Let's get over here with you. We do some more damage with the melee unit. Now, we can't stand in this tile. We can go around to the side here. That does put us in range of their ranged unit, which is a little bit of a pain, but we need to go and do something. And we're going to go and move around here with the cavalry so that we can charge forwards on the next turn. So we're going to take some damage this time. Our shield ate most of that one, so that's fine. And you are backing up because you're a ranged unit. So yeah, that one sucked. Let's go ahead and use this active ability. I mean, we can use it anyway, so why not? That does a huge amount of damage to them. That might be enough to finish them off, and it is. Can we cavalry charge you? Yes, we can. Ranged units don't like being attacked up close. Now they are on high ground there, which gives them a little bit of an advantage, but we're going to beat them quite easily. So they might back up. If he backs up though, he'll take damage because we've got zone of control. Difficult to tell when they're on a different elevation. It's not saying that they're on a different elevation there. Can't attack with you. Yeah, not seeing any elevation change. Oh well. It doesn't matter. We just needed to finish them off. So that's the mission completed, and we get another 100 influence. So what have we got here? Have 3 kin of Sheridan as artisans in Garen's Rest for 1 turn. And we gain a unit of Chosen, which is basically one of our big... sort of Titan-esque military units, which we can see here. Yeah, this thing, Chosen. So it's like a big sort of juggernaut robot. Really, really nice unit. There's a few more here that we can unlock as well. Archers obviously are really nice. There's not a huge amount of unit variety for each faction. You know, don't think it's going to be something like Civilization where you're going to have dozens of different unit types that you can upgrade through the ages. Having 3... where are we? Population. Yes, I know I can build improvements. I'm building an improvement. Having 3 Kin of Sheridan population as an artisan is going to be difficult because 1, we've only got 2 slots, and 2, we've only got 1 population. But we will get there, and we'll get more population slots as the city improves. And basically, we do that by building districts, right? Which is what we're going to be doing. We could straight up pay for this, but we're not going to. Let's go on to the next turn. Now it's telling us about influence and foundations. Wants us to buy foundations. I mean, I don't really need to. The game wants me to, so let's do it. Do we want to take an extra production and extra food, or 2 food? Let's go this way because it leads us out towards these tiles. So now we've got an extra food and an extra production. You know, great. We will still get another population eventually. And now our army is free to roam around again. There's another anomaly here. There's another anomaly. Oh, it's just a forest. That one looked like an anomaly. We can, of course, turn this off. This button in the bottom left-hand corner is the grid. But I think the grid is fairly self-explanatory in this game. I don't think you really need to have the grid on. So let's do a little bit of exploration. Now, this thing here, this is a curiosity. And if you pick up a curiosity, you just walk over a curiosity and you get it. So you have found the weapons curiosity, dust infused, leeched found. So if we go back to our hero and then click on equipment, we've got this thing here. So this goes in the accessory slot. And this gives +1 resilience, +1 determination, +1 intuition, and +1 might. Unnatural fitness. When equipped, it adds +3 extra max health per each of those things as well. Wow. Okay, that's nice. Well, definitely be giving him that. So that's giving him a nice little boost. He hasn't leveled up yet, so there's nothing else I can do with him. Idle army. Are there any others around? So they are pretty much the same as finding like a tribal village in Civilization. Not too much we can do here, but if we end this turn, the fencing research is finished, so now we can build farms. And we've also now finished the keep. So we can claim territories. We'll do that in a second. So we've now got the option of this divine service, where I can turn a divine a kin of Sheridan into a divine population. I don't want to do that just yet because it'll take me longer then to get that mission completed about having 3 kin of Sheridan in an artisan slot. We are going to go over here though and build another district. And let's just go ahead and get a farm over here. It's only 4 turns for a farm, and then we'll be able to start growing our population, which is what we really need to do. Now, what the game was telling us, we go over here and click this, is to build a new city, basically. So we're in a different territory. You can see where the territory's borders are by this white dotted line. Let's turn the yields on. Is there actually anything decent here? Yeah, it doesn't have a lot, though, does it? Being here. It might not, but we can rejuvenate that. That can be done. We can make these barren tiles good, because there's a lot of dust in this territory. This is going to be a really good economic territory. So we're going to go ahead and for 60 influence we'll found a camp. Now we can pick where that camp spot goes. I'm actually going to put it here, because at least then we'll be adjacent to some food and some industry. So that's where, and we need to wait a turn for that to happen. We also need to pick a new tech. So we might want to go ahead and grab currency just so we can get some extra dust. Holy commands, yep, we know about those now. We spoke about those before. So let's go ahead and hit end turn. And we basically now have this camp, evolving camp. Now there are 2 things that you can do with a camp. You can either attach it to a city, which means it can't really build its own buildings, but you essentially claim the tiles for the city it's attached to, or you can turn it into its own independent city. Not independent, obviously you still control it, but my point is it'll have its own city hall, it'll be able to buy its own tiles and build its own units and things like that. We're not going to be doing that right away. This army can now go back on to exploration, and I think that's really difficult to get down there. You can build bridges to get over water. So if you build a bridge, it takes 1 turn. So you need a bridge to cross a large river. Building a bridge takes 1 turn, and that bridge will remain until the next flood or the next monsoon. So we can get over here now. I don't think there's a lot over on this side. Yeah, I think we've kind of found the edge of the map there. And here comes the monsoon. Now, you always know when you get a monsoon because you'll see these little flying, floating, golden things appear. I did just skip the cutscene there again for the same reason as before. And luckily we've landed right next, one of them's landed right next to us. So these levitations. So if we go ahead and grab this, it basically gives us some dust and it gives us a... it resets our movement or gives us some extra movement. Unfortunately that has wiped the bridge out. So getting to the other ones is a little bit difficult. But yeah, you want to try and grab as many of these as possible because it's all extra dust. There's another one down here. There's one up here, so you can see there's quite a few around. We can also now appoint council members. Now you've got to be careful here because you click this and then it's locked and you have to pay dust to unlock them again. So let's click these appoint buttons first. And if you mouse over them, you can see what bonuses they give. So this person would reduce the industry cost on a district, so we build districts faster. This one gives us an extra 5 industry on the city hall. This one gives us 15 industry on the capital, and this one gives us 40% gains on battle spoils on a unit. Let's reduce the industry cost of districts because we're going to be making a lot, building a lot of those. And let's put our hero in there because, well, the only city we've got really is the capital, and 15 industry on the capital is better than 5 industry on the city hall. Now, if you put your hero on the council, it's absolutely fine. They stay in the army. At least I believe they do. Yeah, so they don't have to choose between being a governor or being a council member or being leading an army. They can do both. These are all just your notifications, which do have a habit of racking up. What does this want us to do? Oh, Idle City, because it's finished building the farm. That was actually nice and quick. So we can go ahead and get ourselves another district. We may want more food. We probably want to start heading out here now and getting science. So let's go ahead and grab this one. We'll build a farm here, and then we can grab these tiles with foundations and get some food and or some dust. I'm going to end the turn. Let's get back out of here. Did we not end our turn? Not sure how long the monsoons last for. Let's get over here and see if we can grab some more of these. I'm a little bit far away from them. I could split the army up, actually, and I may do that. There's the currency research done. That one was nice and quick. So we probably want to go in and... That allows us to build dams. What does the dam actually give us? An army will be engaged in building the dam. Yeah, I know that. Dam is a special district built on a river tile that impacts the waterway tiles up and downstream. Army built structures and can be attacked by enemies. No, we don't need that. Oh, voice of the masses. Forums. Yes, we do need that. So yeah, we could go ahead and... Why is this saying we can found a camp? Oh yeah, this territory is already claimed, so you can click the button wherever, but you just can't do it there. You also have the option to remove forests, which sends industry to the capital, which is nice. What I'm going to do here, though, is split the army. So select 2 units, click transfer, and do that. Except I should have left-clicked and not right-clicked, which is why it went a bit funny. Oh. Let's transfer one other unit then. You move to that. There we go. Just splitting the army up because then I can go in 2 different directions and try and grab both of those curiosities if I can get to them quick enough. Move through your own territories quite quickly, so probably be able to get to that one on the next turn. This one's going to take 1 more turn, but you know, free dust is free dust. Monsoon hasn't ended yet, which is great. So let's grab that one. There we go. Let's grab that one. There we go. There's another neutral minor faction over there, so we might want to try and pacify them. So let's go and get our armies back together. Pending dialogue. This is another story dialogue. So you get these every now and then, these little things pop up where you have a choice. So we can either get some food on Garen's Rest, but we'll lose some production, lose 10 industry. Or we can subsidise, where we basically pay 75 dust, but we gain 10 approval on cities, or we can just lose food. Well, we've got the money, let's go ahead and subsidise. And close that up. So just basically it's like a... not a disaster, but it's something that you just have to sort of deal with. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Yeah, we're not going to move this army here. We'll just get them to skip their turn. Resource conversion. So this is another thing that you can actually do. If you don't want to build anything in your city, if you decide that you don't want to, you know, build any more districts, you can use this convert button, and you can actually, you do need to unlock the technology for it, but you can basically convert your industry into approval, food, influence, dust, or science. So you don't have to waste it if you're not going to build anything. But we've just built the farm here, so what we could do, and we have the influence for it, is we could go ahead and get a foundation on this tile, and that instantly gives us some more dust and some more science, and then we can go ahead and build the laboratory over here, because we don't have one yet. So now we'll have a lab on that tile, and then if we get out of here, yeah, that unit's moving towards us a little bit, although I think it's just because we are in... oh, is that actually going into battle with me? So I've got to accept this. Okay, we are slightly stronger, because I do have my hero unit here. So he's actually engaged me in battle. We could try and retreat. Now, luckily, my other unit is actually close enough to reinforce. So we'll do that. And they're reckless rookies. Our side has more experience than the other unit, so make a big difference in this battle. Yeah, we'll be fine here. I was worried that my other army wasn't going to get there in time, but they were close enough, so it does count. They're spawning on this side. So maybe we want to keep the cavalry over here. We want to put the two melee units up front, and then we'll just put our hero at the back. He's blocked by this waterway, so that gives us a little bit of... we could just do an instant resolution, but I don't really think there's any need to. These are two ranged units. Now, we do have some high ground here. I'm going to start by just charging in with the cav. If I move my hero to here... yeah, now if you look down here on the bottom, on the panel, on the purple text, it says base damage, and then upper ground. We get 15% extra damage for being this high up. I could just use this, and that would probably kill it. Actually, it's not saying that it would. Okay, we'll just take a normal shot then. And then let's move forwards with the other units. We'll probably take a hit from one of these units, but I think overall that's fine. The amount of damage that they can do to me is negligible. I haven't quite learned what all of these symbols mean yet. Yes, you can mouse over them and it will tell you. Yeah, you took a lot of hits, didn't you? Damaged. This is a negative status, loses 10% to 35% damage, increases as health decreases. Okay, so the more damage you take, the less damage that you do. This unit is engaged, adds 20% defense and 20% damage and 30% defense. It's also got broken focus, does 30% less damage. I'm going to back up with... no, I'm not going to back up with the cavalry because we'll take damage there. So we'll attack with you. Now we'll back up with the cavalry, just because I don't want that cavalry to take any more damage. I'm going to move a bit further forward with this infantry. And then you should be able to hit from there, right? How much more damage would that? 37 versus 37 to 48. I might just do that really then. Okay. You need to heal, to defend. He's attacking my hero, that's fine. Can't quite finish him off on this turn. Now, if I attack here, I think are on lower ground, but enough to kill them. Nice and easy one. It was a bit... I still haven't quite worked out what the rule is for supporting armies for reinforcements, how close they have to be and under what conditions they get called in. So that's something I need to work out. But we won the battle. We've got some battle spoils, 119 dust, and we've got this Flask of Dusk Fire, which is a consumable. Now, you can sell those at a certain point. So let's just go ahead and look at our hero. And we'll go... He doesn't have any skill points yet, so I can't unlock anything new. But in equipment, he's now got this. We can give this to anyone, by the way. If we have multiple heroes, it's a one massive inventory pool that you can swap between heroes. So this is a consumable, Flask of Dusk Firepower. So when consumed, restores 30 health on a targeted unit, restores 3 health per hero level, and does not consume movement points and an action token. Destroys the consumable after use. And it's area of effect. So it's a single-use AoE heal, basically, with a 0 cost, other than it's a one-time use thing. Nice, okay. Now, we see this unit is damaged. We do want to try and get these units together. And what we can do is we can then click on this button, which is recuperate. And they'll just stand around and recuperate. Well, this video's gone on for nearly an hour. And I'm going to end it here because I don't want this one to be massively long. The future videos in this series, because I will keep playing it, the future videos in this series will hopefully be shorter because I won't be trying to explain so many concepts right at the beginning. And obviously because we did go through that initial bit of tutorial that was kind of holding me by the hand, it sort of slowed things down a little bit. But should be a little bit faster from the next video onwards. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And remember, the point of this video is that I intend to just really familiarise myself with all the mechanics, and then I can go ahead and make a hopefully really concise tutorial series for new players. But if you're just here because you enjoy watching me play 4X games, strategy games, that's great as well. Thank you very much. A big thank you to my subscribers and my supporters. Couldn't do this without your help. It is really, really appreciated. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you're new here, do consider subscribing. I'll see you on the next video, and until then, goodbye for now.